Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for joining us on Velayat News. I'm Abroo Sabzwari, and now a look at the headlines for today. Largest U.S. military base under attack in Afghanistan. Turkish Prime Minister Erdogan warned protesters that patience has a limit. Pakistan's Foreign Minister for Planning says Iran gas pipeline project can't be set aside. Afghan's President Karzai demands handover of Afghan nationals held by UK. 11 killed in fresh spate of violence in Karachi, Pakistan. One of India's oldest Shia Imam Bargahs, Shah-e-Mardan, under fiery debate. And now the news in detail. The largest U.S. military base in eastern Afghanistan has come under a rocket attack, after which the U.S. embassy in the Afghan capital, Kabul, was put on lockdown. Militants launched a rocket attack on Afghanistan's Jalalabad Airport, which hosts the largest U.S. airbase in the country's east. 3 rockets were fired into the base, destroying a civilian plane with no one on board. The U.S. military in the capital, Kabul, confirmed the attack in a statement, but there are still no reports of possible casualties. Afghan security officials say armed militants have taken over a building near Kabul Airport, which is home to a large U.S.-led military base. No group has yet claimed the responsibility for the attack. Jalalabad is a regular target of attacks by militants in Afghanistan. More details to come as the story develops. Turkish Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan has cautioned anti-Ankara protesters that his patience has a limit, as he maintained his tough line against government opponents. The Turkish premier told thousands of his supporters as he arrived at Ankara's airport late Sunday that we remained patient. We are still patient, but there's a limit to our patience. While thousands of protesters continued to stage anti-government demonstrations in Istanbul, Ankara, and the western city of Izmir for the 10th consecutive day, Erdogan held his own support rallies, hitting 3 cities in one day. He told his supporters to not worry, stating that nobody should be pessimistic and nobody should worry. Turkey went through many events in the past and will overcome this one too. Earlier in the day, Erdogan also denounced his opponents as looters, anarchists, and terrorists, urging his supporters to respond to protests by voting for his ruling party in the local elections next year. The unrest was triggered by police violence against an environmental protest at Istanbul's Taksim Square on May 31st. The protests soon spread to 78 cities across Turkey and solidified into calls for Erdogan's resignation. Erdogan has faced international condemnation for his handling of the crisis. Turkish police have also been criticized strongly for using excessive force against peaceful protests. Pakistan's new government moved to smother speculations about the Pakistan-Iran gas pipeline on Saturday. The Federal Minister for Planning, Ehsan Iqbal, stated that we will continue the work at the gas pipeline because such a vital project cannot be set aside in hard times like the present. Certain quarters had expressed fears about the fate of the pipeline because of the ruling PMLN's close ties with Saudi Arabia. Speaking to journalists after a meeting with officials of the Planning Commission, Mr. Iqbal said energy is our first, second, and third top priority. Electricity is no longer a mere commodity now, he stated. It is a necessity and lifeline. Taking charge of the same department after 14 years, Mr. Iqbal said the PMLN government had presented a Vision 2010 in 1998, but this time it would be limiting its goals to 5 years. According to Mr. Iqbal, a Vision 2018 will be launched soon after presentation of the federal budget. As the Planning Commission has been upgraded by the new government, Mr. Iqbal said the Planning Division would also be monitoring projects to ensure their completion within the stipulated time and budget. Mr. Iqbal said the PMLN government had a zero-tolerance policy for corruption and efforts would be made to strengthen NAB, FIA, Public Accounts Committee, and other departments supposed to fight white-collar crime. He added that the most unfortunate part of the previous government was that corrupt officials were assigned key posts in these crime-fighting departments, but that they will ensure that officers with good track record are given the right posting. Afghanistan's President Hamid Karzai has set a 2-week deadline for the British Armed Forces to hand over all Afghans in Camp Bastion to the Afghan government. The announcement by Mr. Karzai, spokesperson, on Saturday came after last week's revelations that the UK forces in Afghanistan are holding over 90 Afghan nationals without trial. The presidential spokesperson says no foreign country has the right to run detention centers inside Afghanistan, and that the detaining of Afghan citizens by foreign troops is against the country's sovereignty. The illegal detentions were made during military operations. The British kept the Afghans in Camp Bastion jail in the southern province of Helmand for a long time without trial. British forces in Afghanistan are normally allowed to detain suspects for 4 days. The detainees' lawyers said they have been held in custody without charge for up to 14 months, which amounts to unlawful detention and internment. Lawyers say the case is against international law and the British Constitution. Last week, General Zahir Azimi, a spokesperson for the Afghan Defense Ministry, also criticized the detentions as illegal and inhuman. The prisoners must be handed over to the Afghan authorities, he said. After their handover to us, they will be dealt with according to our judicial laws and the agreements reached with the international community. The Afghan president has also demanded that London provide Kabul with explanation regarding its drone program. The UK military has been operating drone attacks in Afghanistan from London. Kabul says the two countries have no agreement over conducting such strikes. British forces have been based in Helmand province since the US-led war in Afghanistan began in 2001. Some 9,000 UK troops are currently stationed in the war-ravaged country. Violence continues in Pakistan. Police and rescue services said unknown snipers ambushed a police mobile van in the city's Patelpara neighborhood, killing 3 policemen. The slain cops belonged to PIB Colony Police Station. Separately, 2 bodies with bullet wounds were recovered from Bihar Colony area of Liari town. The victims were shifted to Civil Hospital Karachi. Another bullet-riddled body was found from Gardens Dhobi Ghat area. In Liari, also, a man and an 8-year-old girl identified as Dua died and 8 others injured when a criminal threw a hand grenade near Kabul Park. The bodies and injured were moved to Civil Hospital Karachi. In Hungurabad neighborhood of Liari, at least 3 persons were injured in a hand grenade attack. They were also shifted to the CHK. Liari and adjoining areas remained tense throughout the day, where police and rangers conducted a door-to-door search operation through which suspects were also arrested. Karachi, the financial and economic hub of Pakistan, is plagued with political, ethnic, and sectarian violence, in which hundreds and thousands have already lost lives. Dargah Shah-e-Mardan, one of the oldest Shia Imam bargahs located in the southern Delhi neighborhood of Jorbagh, also known as Aliganj and Aliji, on account of the foot impressions of Imam Ali alayhi salam that have been placed inside, has triggered an ongoing debate in India. Since January last year, Jorbagh has become a hotbed of controversies when opposing parties with contrasting demands clashed over opening of the Dargah's western gate, alterations to heritage properties, and alleged occupation of government land. The long dispute over the shrine has led to violent clashes between police and locals. Chief Minister Sheila Dikshit met Union Home Minister Sushil Kumar Shinde to seek his help in resolving the issue. Dikshit has requested that the Home Ministry consider the possibility of withdrawing cases against those booked in rioting cases after a clash between the locals and police in 2012 over the burial ground. Speaking to Newsline, Dikshit said she met Shinde to try and resolve the dispute amicably. She stated that the government wants to settle this dispute peacefully. Shia leaders in Lucknow have also met with Mr. Shinde last week and are demanding withdrawals of FIRs as well as action against those who are guilty. Maulana Qalb Jawad, the Shia leader from Lucknow, wrote to Congress President Sonia Gandhi claiming that they are asking for withdrawal of only those FIRs wherein innocents were falsely implicated. He stated that policemen were aggressors then and a judicial inquiry was promised, but it never happened. People from all walks of life belonging to all religions, castes, and creeds come to Shah-e-Mardan for offering their prayers and getting their wishes fulfilled. Besides the local Shia Muslims, members of parliament, other government officials, foreign diplomats from various embassies, especially from Muslim countries, visit the Dargah on a regular basis. And that will be all for today. Thank you for joining us on Velayat News. I'm Abroo Sabzwari. See you next time.